Well, I just want to say, when Secure Arkansas started in 2008, I happened to run across Paul Jacobs' name on the internet. And it's amazing that his mom and dad just happened to be part of Secure Arkansas and some of my best friends. But so it's a small world. But I want to say that he inspired me to get up and try to get this done. I started reading and I thought, you know what, we can do that here in Arkansas, and we can do all these different steps that he started going through, and he's going to be talking about that today. But I want to say something about Paul that you all might not know, that should be really let it speak to your heart today, because Paul, it takes men and women of courage, we know, but he was arrested in Oklahoma, and they had an indictment against him for basically helping the people in Oklahoma get their initiatives done over there. So that's why I'm saying you don't ever want to walk with a person that doesn't have a limp. And I'm telling you, that's the truth. And so I turned to Paul, and basically he doesn't even know how much of an inspiration he has been and how much I followed exactly what he said to do. But he's going to come and speak to you now. But this is the man that's been through the fire, and he's got, in the D.C. area, citizens in charge, and that's what we need to be here in Arkansas. And there was one other thing that was said when we had our command center set up that meant a lot to me. There was a guy staying at the hotel from Arizona, and he lived in Tucson, and he said, this state, talking about Arkansas, is going to have to fight. So that's what we're doing. We're gonna fight. We're gonna fight for our national sovereignty, and we're gonna fight for our state sovereignty. Paul, come let's hear it.
Well, thank you, Jeannie. It's been a pleasure to get to know you and realize that there are people like my mom who just work 24/7 and never tire. I want to, I hope it's not a disappointment, but I want to actually talk to you about a subject that usually is a little funny in crowds like this. I want to talk to you about insurance. And I want to sell insurance, and I have to, before I even get to the actual policy, I have to tell you that I've had a funny history with insurance. The first time someone came to me to try to sell me insurance, I was 19 years old, and I was working at a low-wage job, and they got to the end of the presentation, and I said, well, why would I need insurance? Who would I give the money to? And they said, well, you could make your parents the beneficiary. And I thought, my goodness, the money goes one way on that situation. I'm not giving that. Well, then I got married, and we started having children, and my wife said we need to get life insurance. And I thought, well, it seems silly to spend money every month for life insurance when you're immortal, when you couldn't possibly ever die. But because my wife said we had to get it, and I'm not that dumb, I just did what she told me to, and we got life insurance. But as you get a little bit older, you realize that while you can joke about immortality, you're mortal, and you can die, and you will die, and you want the folks that you love to live on, and to have the kind of life, the kind of world to live in that you've had. And so, part of that is financial. But I got to thinking in recent years that if something happened to me, it's not really finances that I'd be worried about. When I think about my kids growing up and finding their way in the world, I'm not so worried that they won't have enough money. One, money isn't everything. Two, they have the ability. My wife, was living on, she has the ability to make money. And they'll make their way in the world. You can start, the wonderful thing about this country is you can start with pennies in your pocket or no pennies in your pocket and end up being an awfully wealthy person. And I got to thinking that what I really worry about is whether my kids are going to grow up in a world, in a country, that is as free as the country that I grew up in, that you've grown up in. And I got to thinking, how on earth can I get that insurance? Where can I find that insurance policy? And then I realized I can find it in places just like this. That's what we're here today doing. And that's what you all were doing around the clock on Friday and Thursday and for weeks and months. And many of us have been doing, from time to time, year in, year out. We've been paying the insurance policies on the most important type of insurance that we can have. The insurance that our kids and grandkids will grow up in a free country. And to me, that's what initiative and referendum is all about. Citizens in Charge Foundation and Citizens in Charge, we have a group, Citizens in Charge, that is active in trying to expand the initiative process and protect it. We lobby, we can advocate, and then we have a foundation which studies the issue, does reports, educational work, and also goes into court. I think we're in different lawsuits right now in 7 different states, suing because legislatures don't much like the idea, even though they're supposed to be representing us, they don't much like the idea of us deciding at times that we want to represent ourselves. And so they constantly pass laws that are not only mean-spirited, designed to undermine the initiative, but also happen to be unconstitutional, because we have a wonderful Constitution that says that when you and I want to speak out, we can, and we can't be stopped. When you and I want to get together and associate with one another to make change, we can, and we cannot be stopped. When we want to petition our government, just read the last phrase of the First Amendment, we have a right to do that.